So while you're getting your devices out and getting kind of logged in, I'll give you a quick blurb about myself. So my name is Mike Dolly. Feel free to just call me Dolly. All of my friends do. We have too many Mikes in our circle of friends, so everyone is just called by their last name. So I'm totally used to Dolly. If you want to go Dalai Lama, that's totally fine with me too. Like, I'm okay with that. I mean, you can see what colleges that I've been to on the door. I did my undergrad at Whitewater. I did my master's online through UW Stout. This is actually my returning year to teaching. I took 2.5 years off, where I was developing training and e-learning for construction, mining, agriculture, and outdoor power equipment. So I designed training for like John Deere, Komatsu, Sany, Ski-Doo, Sea-Doo. Anytime that they had like a new product coming out, I helped develop the new training materials to go with it, which was pretty cool because I've got to drive some of the equipment as well. They usually like ship us equipment, and I get to get behind the wheel of some of these things. Like, I've driven like a dump truck that's bigger than this classroom, and that is extremely intimidating. So if you find like a little Honda Civic like comfortable, and then you go up to a big truck and you're like, oh my God, this is kind of nerve wracking. When you drive something that's got tires that are bigger than this room, it's like, I don't want to crash this because it costs way more than anything that I can afford, but really cool. Komatsu's got what they call the sandbox, or the playground, in Georgia, and you get to drive all the equipment and you get to dig and drive and stuff like that. So it's like a little kid's playground, right? Couple of other quick things about me. Outside of this as well, I'm actually the president of the Wisconsin High School Esports Association. So if you're into video games, yo, that's me too. I help organize over 100 high schools in the state of Wisconsin. I work with probably like 100 colleges around the country as well, in order to go ahead and try to make opportunities for video gaming at the high school and collegiate level as well. So yeah, really big into video games as well. So music is another big thing. When we have work time, I'm okay if you listen to music, or I will play it through the speakers up here, if it's not too distracting for people. And I will let you go ahead and pick, because most students don't enjoy what I listen to, right? Like, I'm a very heavy metal person. I miss concerts as much as anybody else. Like, it's an out, it's a release, and I definitely miss just hanging out at like a nice hardcore show. So, questions, comments, concerns? Yes, ma'am. It does not work. Like, no power or what? Pardon me, ma'am. Uh oh. You got a power cord with you? Is it? Well, do you want to head down and see if they can repair it, or you just want to wait right now and we'll kind of work together? Because you're going to work with an activity here. If you want to work on your cell phone, I'm cool with that. I'd rather you not miss like a ton of the first day, right? Like, fall behind a little bit already. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Cool. So can everybody read that Google Classroom code? Yes. Okay, thank you. Again, I will set up the live. So there's a meeting link up at the top. So if you just join that, if you have to be remote, that's how you can attend class. Or again, like I said, I will stream everything to YouTube. I have my nice camera here that, for whatever reason, if you want to look at me or see people in the classroom, you can do that as well. Otherwise, just shoot me an email if you ever need anything. I stop checking email at about 9 p.m. when I go to bed. So, but I will respond usually at about 5:30 in the morning. Cool? Capiche? Caposh? Okay. So go ahead, inside of your Google Drive, the only thing that I ask is I'm going to try to help you stay a little bit organized within your file management system. If you have a different way of doing it, knock your socks off, right? But I think it's really vital in order to go ahead and keep everything kind of organized together. And it's easier to then find files. It's easier to then find assignments and all that good fun stuff, right? So once you go ahead and make that, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of start out with a partner activity. So that way you can work with the person that's right next to you. We are going to need to do what we're gonna call elbow partners, basically like all trimester. Like as much as I would like to be able to let you get up and move around, it is going to be difficult for contact tracing. So get to know the person that you're sitting next to. You'll be doing quite a bit of work with them, okay? Is everybody ready then? Yes, okay. So what I'm gonna have you do, and again, like I'm not from Elkhorn. I used to drive by here all the time. That's about it. So it was a big shock that I got to actually finally see what's inside that big building that I drive past on 43 all the time, and get to see the inside, so I can sleep better tonight knowing what's inside that big building. Mystery solved, right? But I don't know a ton about the city here itself or the surrounding community. So as we were going into intro to business, we're going to be looking at businesses. So what I ask for you to do, oops, I need to stop doing that, is I want you to just use Google Maps, right, with the person that you're sitting next to, and I want you to help me create a database of companies that are here in the community. And the reason why I say, or why I'm having you do this, is so that way when we start to get into different sections about like entrepreneurship or different struggles, like within the financial industry as well, like all these companies have financial statements, we can actually look at local companies and see what we can find about them, right? Different types of ownership styles, different revenue streams. We can see if they're publicly traded and all that kind of fun stuff. So figure out what the company name is using Google Maps. And if one of you wants to look on Google Maps while the other one, morning. If you want to find on Google Maps the company, and then I gave you this diagram here. This is what they call career clusters. As far as any high school student that's going on to college, they're like, well, what career cluster do you want to do so in your future? So we've kind of broken it down to about 6 different basic industries, right? And so I'm just going to give you guys and gals, like 15 minutes? Yeah, I'll give you until 8 o'clock in order to go ahead and get that section done, all right? Just this way, it gives you an opportunity to introduce yourself, maybe talk to the person that you're sitting next to, ask them how their day was, how their summer was, just to get a little discussion going in here. Cool? Great talk. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. We're going to be talking a lot, I hope. Hopefully we get some others in here talking. What's up? Oh, is it not? Yeah, if you go on the daily agenda, I'm trying to link all the documents on the agenda for you, so that way you don't have to find specific files. Yes, ma'am. In Google Classroom? Sorry. Daily agenda. If you scroll down, it'll be day 1. Thank you. Trust me, I'm going to make tons of mistakes throughout the trimester too. It's up to you, because I'm going to go through, like if you can just like compile as much as possible, I'll get rid of duplicates. Do we have a Joseph in here today? No. And if you have questions on what career cluster too that it goes into, just let me know, and I will happily answer your questions. The bigger the list, the better. And I will go through and remove all duplicates, so that way we have an accurate list. Yes, sir. What was that? Actually, most likely you put it down in human services and education. You got a question? No? What? No, neither is education. Hmm? Yeah, so usually like a library goes along the same lines as education because they usually host like classes. Same with like human services, right? So that's usually like your child protective services, your like DMV, post office are usually considered to be like some sort of like human services or social like social workers are usually human service. How's it going, sir? Living the dream. All right, give you about 1 more minute to wrap that up. And I will tell you that I am relatively impressed so far. Because who wants to take a guess at how many duplicate companies have been added? Now, I give you no direction upon like who should go for what industries and who should add from what area. Does anybody want to take a guess at how many duplicates we have? 1? That's very optimistic, but no. Yeah. 10? Less. Who you guys get? See? 7? Getting closer. Anybody else? 5. Yes, exactly. So despite having 27 individuals just randomly collaborating, I was actually surprised at that we didn't have just a bunch of duplicates. Here, I will show you the actual data that we have here that we just collected before we jump back into this. So this is the data that we collected. Oh, maybe we had 6. Sorry. Maybe somebody added last minute there. Okay, so this gives me a pretty good indication as to kind of what is available here, right? So we see that you identified about 25% are business, marketing, and management here. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and freeze that for right now so it's easier. And that there's a large agriculture, food, and natural resources segment, right? We see another pretty good healthy chunk as far as human services and education. I mean, that makes sense. It's what you're all in here for today, in order to get some education. Not so much as far as health sciences. and it looks like a small communication and information system. So this kind of gives you, or it gives me a better understanding of what exactly is here in Elkhorn, right? Where could you potentially go and work in order to go ahead, after you're done here, or if you're done with college and you want to come back here. God, this is going to be real annoying. So I'm in the same boat here. I don't like this one bit. Contacts every day. Sounds terrible. But this gives me a good idea, right? How many of you think that you have a diverse segment of opportunities here, or things that you can go and do in this town? A couple of you? How many of you think this place has nothing to offer? It's okay to say that, right? Like, I grew up in a very small town in northern Illinois that was like one street, and I don't think that there was anything there to do, right? So that's okay. But there are different opportunities, and we'll talk a little bit more about this once we start understanding the business structure and segment. The next thing that we'll start to unpack is, how are these businesses run? What type of ownership do we see at some of these local companies? Because that gives you a better insight to exactly maybe the success that they're having right now, or depending on how much restriction is being put on them in our current environment. We'll be able to go ahead and maybe dissect each of these different segments to see what kind of constraints or freedoms that they may have in our current environment, right? So for the next little activity, I guess it's not really an activity. We need to get you kind of underway, get you a little bit of reading here. So on Google Classroom, if you go out there, I have posted digital text. And again, it's a PDF. So that is available there. You don't have to worry about a book. If you do prefer a book, just come talk to me and we can talk about renting out a textbook to you. Just so that way then you can potentially have it at home. We can mitigate how much contact tracing that we would have to do in order to figure out down to like very anal retentive to be like, Johnny used book 13 and everyone else used book 13 at one point. They all got to go. So that way, we just eliminate that whole process, right? So not too much. It's just pages 2 through 4. Make sure that you're pulling out, if you want to pull out vocab words, that should be bolded. If you have questions that come from this as well, I'm not going to tell you like you have to take notes, but again, if you ask questions, it makes this a lot easier. We can actually go a lot deeper than just you reading a textbook and me just speaking at you. We can go deeper and have a better understanding of the business environment so that you're better prepared for your future when you leave here, or leave this classroom or leave this building, right? And go outside into the real world, right? Cool? Okay. I'll give you, I don't know, like 10, 15 minutes. Let's go 10. Let's go 10, right? It's 3 pages. If you can't find access to it, let me know too. You want to go get it fixed? You what? Oh. Shucks. How many of you would like a couple more minutes? Okay. If you're done, I just have this question posed to you, and it's available on Classroom there as well. We're going to be talking a lot about value, right? And I want to try to go ahead and find brands or companies, that you find valuable, that are meaningful in your day-to-day life. I gave you my example. So I love my Vans shoes. Absolutely love them. Like I've had a pair since 8th grade that I still haven't worn out the bottoms of. They're the best shoes ever. But I really value them. And so I just want to understand a little bit about who you are. What brands do you value? Do you value, a specific car company? Are you a Wranglers kind of guy? Because Brett Favre's in the commercials still. Are you a Qdoba or a Chipotle fan? Any Starbucks fans coming out with the PSLs here soon? What is valuable to you? What are brands that you engage with, that you believe in, that you follow? That could even be, I'm a big sports guy too, despite being a huge video game guy too. Huge soccer fan. And I love Forward Madison. I really love everything that they're doing for the city, and I follow them all the time. Like I follow them on social, I interact with them, I do graphic design work for fun for them. So what do you value? What are companies and brands that you value? So I'll kind of give those of you that need a few minutes to wrap that up. And then those of you that have already completed, just there's a little discussion on Classroom. And just give me, I don't know, like 4 or 5 brands that, are your thing. If you value different social media apps, I know, TikTok, I don't get it. I'm just, 33 years old and I'm just the old fogey. I just out of the loop. So just let me know. Just give me a little insight to who you are and where your values are. Yeah, that's a great question. If you have to go to the bathroom, there is a form on the homepage. And all you got to do is there's a virtual form on the Elkhorn homepage. Yeah. At least I thought they said it. They put it on there. If you go to student services, oh geez. Yep. And then when you have that complete, you go ahead and go, bud. So as you're adding your comments here, let me just ask you a question. Why do you find them valuable? What do you value about those that you listed? You use them a lot? Okay. Like I saw you put Discord, right? I live on Discord. Yeah, I have like I think like 60 servers that I'm in, and it's dude. Well, bless your heart. Like you have way too much patience, too many at everyone pings. But I too I value Discord because I do tons of business through there, right? Like I communicate with people that I've never met, that I don't even know their real names, but I have a strong connection with them. I've built a relationship with them. So I agree with you on Discord. What else? What else do you value other than just using it every day? Yes, sir. Efficiency. And what company do you feel is efficient? Best Buy. Pretty innovative as well. Best Buy. I do enjoy Best Buy. Yes, sir. Quality product. And which quality product did you submit today? Okay. So like for me, that would be like my beaver dam tip ups, right? Like I'm a big ice fisher too. So I mean, now like the old beaver dams, the ones with like the brass reel, not like the tin one. Yeah. Okay. We get it. What else? Why else? What else do you value about some of these companies? Yes, sir. Customer service. And what company did you put that has good customer service? So like you can give like I'm gonna say an upvote to the seller and they can like respond to you too. Okay. What else do you value? Anything else? Yes, ma'am. Your Hey Dudes. And what do you value about your Hey Dudes? Comfortable? I take it those are shoes then as you look down at them? Okay, thank you. How many of you have like a shoe or a clothing brand on your post? Or that you find valuable? Like that's okay, right? Um, did anybody put here? Like Elkhorn School? No? Okay, that's okay. I knew the answer already. Like I saw that. Like it's not something that maybe that you think of, right? You value this education, you value the quality, right? If it's not worth your time to be here, or you're not getting anything out of it, are you going to value it? Potentially no, right? And so sometimes things that we value are then also motivational factors. They make us strive to do better, right? Um, did anybody find anything else interesting in these first 3 pages that kind of like stood out? No? So I'm a big fan, and I watch this trend. I don't participate. The Insta skills is super huge, right? I mean, I saw about 90% of you put TikTok on your valuable list. Okay, that is an instant skill, right? I don't know all of a sudden this viral sensation of dancing in front of your phone. But I mean, if I were to ask you to sing in front of class today, how many of you would feel comfortable doing that? Okay, I got one very confident lady here, right? But most of us wouldn't do that. But when I went to the airport, like before everything shut down, you know, I see a bunch of this, like just in the airport in a crowded terminal. I'm like, that's crazy. Because if I were to ask any of you to do that in here, like as everybody's working, you'd be like, oh no, I would not do that, right? But for whatever reason, in order to try to go, you know, get some likes on the internet, right? You value that feedback or that acceptance from your peers, right? So you're willing to use that. Some other ones that I really like for instant skills. I'm just going to say instant, and the fact that I use like Uber and Lyft all the time, right? Those are instant skills. The fact that I can have a car usually to my house within 5 minutes to pick me up and take me wherever I want to go. Not to mention, it's also it's a lot cheaper than like traditional taxis, right? Um, how many of you Uber and Lyft? Anybody use those before? How about those the scooters before they got removed from Milwaukee? Anybody use those or Madison? No. All right. How many of you have stayed using like Airbnb? Okay. So I love using those services. I'm a big nerd, and I love numbers, and I like tracking some of that kind of fun stuff. So for my wife and I, um, we try to travel as much as possible, but I'm also very cheap, right? But I don't want to skip on quality. I look for some of these different services that maybe aren't there. So like I'm on a website. It's called Scott's Cheap Flights, and every day I get like usually a free deal of the day, right? And somebody is out there tracking it, and I have to pull the trigger that day if I want those prices. So being able to be flexible and not like super closed-minded to where I want to go, right? So my wife and I last year we took a trip to Belgium. We spent Thanksgiving in Belgium, right? Round trip tickets out of Chicago. Anybody want to take a guess at how much ticket prices were for one ticket round trip from Chicago to Brussels? How much? 264? Anybody else? Anybody been to Europe or no flight prices? 265. Price is Right rules. I like you. You're sharp. Yeah. 380. All right. We actually got them for $275 round trip. Okay, so Price is Right rules. You win there. But that's cheap. Usually tickets to Europe, especially around that time, are still about $600 to $800, right? But there are certain lulls in the market, and you can track those in order to get some of these skills available, right? And you can start to hone in on some of that. And then because of Airbnb, we spent like a week in Europe for under $2,000 for the two of us, right? And the last time that I went, I spent almost that on a plane ticket just to get there. So, I mean, being able to use some of these skills that we have now in the data analytics, even with like TikTok and stuff like that, right? There are still tons of data analytics that they're tracking behind there that we didn't see 10 years ago, right? And even same with like Airbnb. It's really cool. Let's see here. What else? Anything else in there? I mean, fast passes or fast laning has been around forever. If you've ever gone down to like Six Flags or Disney World, they have all of those. Does anybody follow robotics and like AI development? No? Augmented reality or virtual reality? No? So the Robo Love section is kind of cool, and I can tell you about a bit of an experience about that. There are some major car manufacturers around the country that are starting to use virtual reality and augmented reality in order to train their technicians, or the fact that they can have a factory in a different country, and then they can have an office in a different country. And those people that are in the office can actually then manipulate the robots in the other warehouse in order to do the assembly line, right? So you could essentially cut a lot of costs of people on the assembly line, can still produce the same high quality cars. So like for me, like my Nissan truck that I have, I love that little truck. But that could be essentially built by somebody using just a joystick and controller on the other side of the world to assemble my truck in a whole other country. Right? That's where some of this training is starting to go. And same with like just automation of everything. Tracking AI is super, it's scary yet incredible at the same time, right? Let's see here. Standard of living and quality of life. I think this is kind of an interesting just like topic to talk about just in general. Standard of life or quality of life. Sometimes we define that as like how many things that we have or what our purchasing power is as individuals, right? So let's see here. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. I will see you tomorrow. You don't have to worry about anything. If you didn't get a chance to post, whenever you get, 5 minutes or whatever, or post, just let me help me learn about you, right? Thank you. You too.